Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. And guess what? You are listening to the Sonosax M2D2 microphone preamp right now. I wanted to schedule this impromptu live stream to talk a little bit about this unit, which is really more than I imagined. And good to see everyone here, and thanks for being here. And also, I want to show you just kind of what we got going on here. I got an overhead camera that we can view the Sonosax M2D2, and we'll bring in the screen into focus here so we can actually go through and navigate through all of the menus, inputs, outputs, mixer, system, etc. So first, I want to talk a little bit about what is the Sonosax M2D2, and what this unit is it is a multi-purpose. It's first of all, it's a 2-channel A to D, D to A converter. So if you wanted to use it as mic preamps and then go AES out, you can do it. It is also a 6 input, 2 output mixer. And it also is an audio interface, which is how you are able to hear it right now coming into my desk. So here on the desk, I've got the AKG C414. This is the ULS version, and I'm actually using the USB out here, which I'll show you in the rear of the unit. And we'll get it to go into focus here so you can see what's going on. Well, maybe it'll focus, but this is the USB cable. It doesn't want to focus unless it sees the the contrast. This is a contrast-based autofocus system. So once again, welcome to the stream. And so we talked about it being an A to D, D to A converter, a 6 input, 2 output mixer, also an audio interface. And it has the ability as well to be an audio interface with your iPhone. I believe, and I don't see any reason why it would not also work with Android, which I do believe I remember seeing that in the menu. And part of the reason you're able to do this unique feature, because that is a very unique feature, to be able to use a mobile device and go directly into it, is that because of its unique power system. So this truly is a very, very unique audio device. And I'll talk a little bit today in the stream about how I plan on using it, why I purchased it, and a little bit about how it can work in various workflows. So the first thing to do really is I'm going to talk a little bit about power. So this actually uses a 3-stage powering system. And I'm looking up here because I'm going to show you a diagram of how that physically works. I have the manual open, and let me find the appropriate page, and then we'll go ahead and switch over to that so you can see how that basically, it's called an intelligent power management system. So let me go ahead and go down here to the screen so you can see, and we'll take a look at the 3 power sources here that we have. And I'm going to zoom this in so you guys can see a little better. So it says here, this list reflects the SX M2D2 power sourcing priority. So the first power connector is a Hiroshi 4-pin connector on the reel, and then you also have a secondary USB power connector. And then finally a removable lithium-ion battery cell. So basically what that means is, since it does have its own internal powering system on the rear of the unit here, let's see if we can get it to focus on that, and I'll show you. There it is. Great. So as you can see here, here's the USB power. Here is the 4-pin Hiroshi, and then also the 2 mic inputs. Here's the mic input, and excuse the fan noise from my MacBook Pro. An AES input, and then also an AES out. And notice that the USB-C here for power is separate from the audio connection. So you're not going to be able to use this as an power and audio on one connection. But the 3-stage powering system is a very powerful tool to have when using this in a production sound bag, which is how I intend on using it. So we'll go through the menus today and talk a little bit about some of the features. And I'm first going to start just with a general schematic, because this can be like a confusing piece. At least it was kind of a confusing piece for me when I first saw it, and like, what is this? Because this truly is a very, very unique device. I will tell you kind of a funny story is part of me doing this live stream and working with it a little bit more last night is that it's going to be going into my production sound bag, and I need to configure it and make sure that I have it set exactly the way I want it, because I'm about to start a new project, so I want to be ready for that. But the story is Sonosax, which is a Swiss company, is known for making incredible sounding, very boutique equipment. In fact, their mixers have been one of the cinema standards for many, many years, and still used widely today. They are definitely not the more affordable option, but when I was sitting here and working with it, I started to listen to the headphones and play back some music, because obviously you can use this as an audio interface. And my mind literally was blown away, because I had the headphone here, and then it sounded so crisp and so incredible that I just was taken back. So then I plugged into the Focusrite line 16, which has a decent sounding headphone amp. I mean, it's definitely professional level quality, and it just was night and day. The noise floor is almost non-existent, and I can even hear, even with this MacBook Pro fan noise happening, this incredible fidelity with this microphone preamp that I have not heard before in any of my production recorders or equipment that I own that's field-based. So I am very happy and very, very excited to be working with this. So part of the stream is to not only show you the physical menu and routing structures, but also give you an idea of what this box can really do. I've had some comments from this particular one. Oh, you know, I would get it if it has a recorder. It doesn't have a recorder, so I'm not going to do that. But really, this is a very, very unique small piece of equipment that can work with a DSLR camera. I'll talk a little bit about that. Because of its switchable balanced to unbalanced TA3 line output. So you can actually use it as a balanced mono line or as a stereo unbalanced, providing you have the right cable, and feed this to like a YouTube camera, like the one I'm using right here, the Panasonic GH5. How I'm going to be using it in the bag is the AES output, because this will go into the Kantar mini rig, which has 6 analog ins and 4 AES inputs, or 2 AES inputs for a total of 4 channels. And I wanted to have access to all 10 inputs. And this was a solution that could double up and also work with comms at the same time. Now, they're not going to be able to mix out at the same time, but I can keep it cabled and plugged in. It can also hardline boom for smaller, maybe documentary work, or when I'm working cabled. So there's a lot of advantages for using something like this in the box, or this box. Right now I'm running on battery power. I mean, I had this going probably a few hours last night, and I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't have another power source handy, so but it seems like we're going to get a good amount of battery out of it. And let me see if I can get it to focus here. That would be good. And let's see here. Come on, there it is. It wants to do it. There it is. So as you can see, I'm about half battery on that right now. Okay, so let's pull up a schematic. And before I do, let me just give a quick hello to Alejandro. Alejandro, it's really great to see you here. You might be having a connection issue. Well, I hope it's things are working. I'm going to go ahead and bring up a I can look at my stream, or just let me know, guys, if everything's working with the connection on your end, and I don't need to make any adjustments here. And also let me know if you hear a sonic difference between this particular preamp that you're listening to right now on the Sonosax M2D2 versus the other live streams that I've done in the past that typically use other types of recorders. So let's go ahead and pull up a schematic is the first thing I want to do. And why I do that, please say hello in the stream. This is kind of just an audio hangout, really, and that's what most of these streams are turning into, but also pretty fun learning experience, as well, because this is my very first Sonosax product, and I'm extremely excited to have the opportunity to work with this particular piece of audio equipment. All right, let me go ahead and pull up the screen share here, and I might even do it larger. Let's see how that looks before we get, because this is going to help answer a lot of questions right out of the gate about well, let's see here. That's pretty good, right? Maybe zoom out just a touch, and let's do that right now, actually, and get it all set the way it's supposed to be. OCD in order. How's that, guys? That's perfect. Okay, so here is a schematic, signal flow schematic of the Sonosax. And one of the features right off of the bat on the two mic line inputs is they have dual ADC converters. And the dynamic range is 135 dB, which is pretty incredible considering the audio interface I just bought here on the Focusrite line 16, I think is, close to 118 dB dynamic range. That's very extensive as far as that's concerned. And then as you can see here, those are the two, well, this is basically the analog to digital dual converters. Then you also have the AS342 inputs here. And then your USB. And then it's a class 2.0 device. And then your power, your 3-stage power. And the order, once again, is the Hiroshi to the USB, and then finally to the removable lithium ion. And it's important to remember that that basically by having that battery is how you're able to use a smartphone device with it, which is a very, very convenient feature that I look forward to using on the Mini if I need to do like some sort of ambient music in a very stripped down type rig like that. Okay, so what do we have here? So what's important about this schematic to understand, besides just the basic signal flow of it, is that these are your 6 sources, your 2 mic line inputs, the AS342, which ultimately ends up to be 2 analog pass, when converted, that is. And then you have a USB audio for your 6 channels, and all of these here will go into the mixer or directly out to the monitoring path for headphones, which I'm monitoring right now myself. And then this is something really interesting here. This is called an asynchronous sample rate converter. And what that means specifically, and I don't want this to be confusing by any means, but it's important to understand that an asynchronous converter allows the math to be better when going from sample rates such as 44.1 to 48, etc., versus a standard sample rate converter. And the sample rate features that, just in case I forget to mention it, you have a separate AES out sample rate that you can set on the Sonosax M2D2. You also have a separate USB sample rate that can be received, and then you also have the sample rate of the main device. And all of those can be interchanged and used at different sample rates with the asynchronous sample rate converter, which is really important to different types of workflows, which I'll talk a little bit later about making sure that you're resolving your clocks correctly in a system. Because I think a lot of the times we're really used to this whole, hey, just plug it in, it's an iPhone, and it's going to work, which most of the time is true. But do understand that your devices, whether they're your phones or your laptop or anything, or playing out of a browser, all have their own sample rates. And the M2D2, since it has an asynchronous recorder, can actually make sure that the conversion between those two sample rates has a very low jitter. So that's kind of what gives it the very incredible sonic part of the incredible sonic nature of it. So let's get back to what we were doing, which was looking at the schematic, and down here we have then the mix path. This is for the mix bus, so you can see how that works. Is you can send any combination of the two AES channels, mic channels, or USB, and then create a mix of sorts to then send to the output. And it even has a built-in compressor if you wanted to use that. This is just your assignations path. We don't need to get too in detail in that. And this is your monitor path, which is your headphones. So as you can see here, the manual, it's only 37 pages, which is incredible. So, I mean, but the engineering, I've always wanted to own a Sonosax product, and I'm so glad that I did. And, you know, so let's get right into it. So first I do, let me just say hello here in the stream. Lloyd, it's so good to see you. It's been a moment. Thank you for being here and saying hello. So let's get right into the Sonosax portion. And I'll show you how this thing works. It's funny, the first time I took it out of the box, I was like, I was on set and I couldn't figure it out. I mean, I was just, you know, it's because I just had too much in my brain at the time. But as soon as I got it home, I was like, oh, this is so simple. And you notice at the title of the live stream, it was more than I can imagine. So my initial point of reference for purchasing this was on the Kantar Mini. I wanted to have two AES, because there's a total of 4 digital inputs, 2 AES, and I wanted to have a box like this along with the Melody 2 to be able to convert an analog signal to a digital signal. That's all I intended to use it for, was this AD conversion. And then when I realized that you could do, like, plug in a mobile device, that you could use it as an audio interface, that you could plug it into like a DSLR camera, that they had switchable line outputs, I was like, okay, they've made something incredibly unique here. And this is going to solve a lot of problems. And so, as you can see, I'm very enthusiastic about it. But let's go ahead and just go quick through the menus. So, all right, here is the Sonosax again, and let's get it in the middle of the screen so the camera behaves and does what it's supposed to do. And I can always switch to a manual focus if this gets too out of control here. But the auto is doing a little better. if I can get it to do it. Hold on one second. Come on. I know you can do it. We all believe in you here. I can even give it a little help too if I need to. Hold on one second. There we go. All right. Not there. Right here. Come on, we're about to go to manual mode here. All right, let's give this a little bit of help. All right. Sorry about moving the camera around, guys. I just want to make sure I get this done correctly. There we go. Now you can do it. All right. Don't want to focus. Oh, almost. You can do it, Sonosax. This screen is not the biggest screen. Okay, so, and it's playing games with me right now. But if I'm very patient, aha, look at that. And the reason why I want to stay on autofocus is that it's a small screen, and I really want to make sure you guys can see it correctly. And I'm really at the minimum focal distance for the focal length on this lens, which is an 85mm. Okay, let's get right into it. So this is the main screen that has 4 VU meters. Those are full digital 0 dBFS to scale VU meters that have peak metering. As you can see, the little, think of it as like a peak plus program or peak plus VU. The channels that are illuminated are at the top here is going left to right at the top is mic channel 1, and it's hard to see, but there is a little lightning bolt next to that, shows that phantom is on. There's 2, which is in dark, which means that channel's off. AES also has a dark background, which is off, and then the USB is on. Now that is the input that is on, by the way, which I don't really need on right now, but I am sending out USB to you, and this is the sample rate of the device. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here and press the left button to navigate through the main menu, and we'll take a look at some of the inputs here. So here are my inputs. So just simply by going left and right, and then I can select with the same knob. Now I can also select here as well with this knob, but it's designed for either one-handed operation or two-hand, how you prefer. So this, and they're also switchable. But anyway, so let's go to the mic line here and take a look at what we're doing. So as you can see, this is power. If I kill power, it's going to go away. So let's do that. Sorry about any pops there, guys. I didn't mean to do that to you. And then as you can see here is phantom. And then this is a 20 dB boost, which you want to use for a microphone level because it's micro line. So you just simply kill this for a line level. This is a high pass filter or LF cut. And if I engage it, I can simply, it says none. I know that's hard to read. And then if I come in, this is 60 hertz, and then 80 hertz, 100 hertz, and 120 hertz, 140 hertz. So as you can see, now it's starting to get aggressive at 160, which is an inside joke between Alan Williams and I. And then, he looks like, 200. Wow, this is an aggressive LF cut. See how far is it's going to go? 240, 280, 300. Man, you can make this sound like an old school radio or something. Jeez, it just keeps going. Now I'm curious. Okay, 320 is the final mark. So let's get back to where we need to. We'll just leave it on none for now. Get that bass right. All right, we can invert the phase, as you can see, and that's really working, and that doesn't sound good like that, so we'll put it back. And then this is a input delay. which can go all the way, I believe, to 100 milliseconds at 48K and like 50 at 96 and 192. And then this is our gain. Speaking of gain, and then here's all the channel 2 duplicates. So if I press the right button, it will go back. And then left goes forward. See? Very simple. Speaking of gain, you notice you got these 2 knobs. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm not a menu diver. I don't want to be diving in menus when I want the machine to work that I want, you know, the device to work the way I want it to work. I might be working USB. I might be working AES, analog input. I'm adjusting my mic because I was realizing I was getting ahead of it, and it sounds a lot better now. How you assign these front controls is very, very simple. So if I come in here and go back, if you notice, if I move this left, then that is my mic input, as you can see here. I go up and down. Now it is a stepped input, but notice that I can change the gain and it doesn't sound stepped, which is nice. It's a stepped wheel is what I'm trying to say, but it doesn't sound stepped. Like, listen, isn't that nice? That's really smooth. It sounds like I'm using a real high quality trim pot. And then if I do the right one, well, that's my headphones for me. Now, what if I needed that to be something different? Okay, so for that, we'll go to our next menu and I'll show you how that works. So the next menu is going to be the, where is this? So see, this is why I'm doing this, to learn this. The system menu, and then I'm going to go into controls. Now see, this is the left control and then the right control, and see how I can adjust what I want it to be here. So it's a very, very nice feature to be able to change what I want each encoder to do so I don't have to go menu diving. And I simply go here, and I can also go menu, back. I can change what those things do. Now check this out. This says switch to right navigation, yes or no. So if you prefer one of the devices to be forward and the other to be backward, you can switch the orientation, which is very clever. I also want to mention that the build quality of this is very, very robust. It's not super heavy, but you can tell this is a professional piece of audio equipment. It's not real plasticky. Everything, the knobs including, are all metal machined housing. And then, of course, as you can see here, this is a OLED display that is going to be very easy to read, even in directly sunlight. So the next menus I want to show you on the input side is the AES input. And as you can see here, we can power off or on the AES here at the top. And let's go ahead and power it on. And it tells me, hey, you don't have any signal, so you can't do much with me. But it has the same thing. This is your AES 42. Think of it as Phantom for AES, but actually it's for AES 42 compatible microphones. This is phase inversion, and once again, input delay. And then you also have the ability to change your gain. Now see, this is the right encoder. And since I'm holding this device for you guys, I can actually do the same thing with the left encoder. So if I simply select it, which I know it's harder to see like that, I can actually change the gain of the AES. And I think it's like 24 down and 24 up, which is interesting because my Kantar is the same exact way with its digital inputs as far as flexibility is concerned for input-output staging. Okay, so let's go back here to the next area. See, OCD, I can't leave it at 5, you know, -5. That would mess with my OCD. USB, once again, this is the USB input. See, now this is interesting here. This is that 48 kilohertz that you see in the lower left-hand side is actually the incoming sample rate coming from the MacBook Pro. The 13-inch here that you see on the desk actually has its own clock, and it is actually physically seeing that clock based upon the USB being connected to the device. Okay. And that has to do with its own asynchronous sample rate conversion technology. And then setup, of course. And this has a safety put into place to where you can choose 48 volt or electret, must be set in the service menu. And the reason for that is that certain electret microphones, if they receive phantom power or full phantom power, can damage the microphone. So there's that. So that is the input section. Let me take a quick moment to go to the comments here and say hello. See if we have any questions so far. Lloyd has an excellent comment here. It's so normal today for companies to get away with good enough. It is refreshing to see Sonosax packing so much power into this product. I 100% agree, Lloyd. And it's just being like yourself, Lloyd, a professional sound guy. I mean, we really appreciate the gear that sounds and works really well. And I think all of us are always willing to pay the extra price as well for that kind of stuff. Tim says, late to the stream, you need phone. Oh, okay. So you need a phone or something to actually record. I wish Sound Devices would make a Mix Pre 2. Oh, like a smaller version. Yes. So good question, Tim, because I'm actually going to talk about some of the scenarios or typical scenarios that you would do with a device. If you wanted to record to the device, you would need to use a external recorder, first of all, and that could be in the form of a, you could use your Mix Pre. However, you would have to send analog out to that since it doesn't have an AES input. Or you could use a phone, which is excellent because there's no A to D conversion in that device. So any application that can see the audio device on your phone, you can simply record to. So you can think of that as a device to be able to do that. You can also record to directly to a camera, including a DSLR. So it doesn't have to be, and this is one of my favorite little small features in it, Tim. So let me go ahead and show you physically the menu. What I'm going to show you is the output menus next. And I'm going to go right to what we're talking about right now, which is sending it to a DSLR or professional camera, and talk about how this device does this. So one thing you'll notice is that some of the recorders here have on the market, and let me get this, okay, is you'll notice that for a balanced left and right out, it'll be a 3.5 millimeter connector, which is fine and well, but the Sonosax M2D2 handles that a little bit differently and allows to give you the flexibility of it being two types of outputs. So here is your analog TA3 line output. So obviously that's a 3-pin TA3. So that, at first glance, it was a mono analog line out. But let me show you where the flexibility and one of the coolest little things on this Sonosax. So I'm going to go to the outputs, and then I'm going to go to the line out, and then I'm going to, oh, you know what? It's not in this menu. See, this is why I'm so glad that I'm doing this. That is the line out assignment to which source, and we'll come back to that because that's something important too. If I go to setup and you see this line out, right now it says one channel balanced. So that is a balanced professional line level output that you could plug into a XLR if you had the right cable 3-pin connector. However, if you want to go to say a GH5, which is, I'm picking on it, which is the camera that I'm using here, or two of the cameras that I'm using here, I can simply come in and then change it to 2-channel unbalanced. So now, if I have the right cable, I can go directly line out to a GH5, but it gets better. Okay, because you might be thinking of yourself, well, Michael, the line output is not going to work into most DSLR cameras because most of them have mic level inputs. Well, obviously you're going to need to attenuate that. So in order to do that, we'll do, basically we'll come back to the output menu, which is what's next anyway, or the line out, and we'll select the 0 here. And actually I'm going to do it with the right encoder so you can see better. And then we're going to go all the way down to, I'd say 30 dB is a decent pad. That's going to be close enough to a mic level going into a camera. So you'll notice on the Sonosax website, they have some photographs. I believe there is a cage for this that you can actually put on top of a camera. So if you're shooting videos like these, or doing live streams like this, you know, the ability to have, you know, an audio device that sounds this good is pretty darn sweet. Or if you're just shooting on your DSLR or whatever you're doing, you know, of course you want it to sound good, right? Especially if you're a sound person. Kind of defeats the purpose if it's not. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some comments here on the stream. Yeah, Tim, thanks for being here. Thanks for saying hello too and for the questions. Could split to stereo but would be unbalanced. Exactly right. And I'm glad you bring up that point too, Tim, because one of the other scenarios, you asked, well, we talked about recording devices, but let me pull up, you know, it's a good let me pull up a visual rather than talk about it here. So here are some of the typical applications, as it's called. So, so as you can see here, this is great. I love these guys. These obviously look like Shep's Colette capsules going into a Sonosax M2D2 and then recording AES into one of their field recorders. Also providing power out of the Hiroshi out into the device for its 3-stage power. Speaking of power, I better look at how much power I got left in this. And then another example is an AES workflow that looks like a WYSICOM receiver. And I'm taking wild guesses just at the illustrations, guys. Going into a 2 channels of the AES and then 2 analog mics for a total of 4 channels being mixed into a DSLR camera. But here's the other thing about the balanced stereo output that you talked about, Tim. Oh, where is it? Oh, there's another workflow thing. And I think it's on 29. I saw this last night, guys, when I was... Anyone read manuals for, like, leisure? And, you know... Oh, here it is. Okay. I guess there's worse problems to have. All right. AES 42. Oh, here's what I was referencing, Tim, based on your comment. Look at this. Here is, you know, I saw this last night. I'm like, okay, this is a little bit of a stretch, but hey, let's entertain them. Microphone, synth, and also what is it? You know, USB audio interface on a laptop, and then the unbalanced left and right out on what looks like, to my ears and or to my eyes, Lloyd will know this, a pair of Avantones speakers, for those of you who know what that is. So I think I have to get some, I think I have power. I can give this to a USB. I might have to do that. Hold on, you know, I'm going to if this thing starts getting low, I'm going to feed it some power with a cable. So, speaking of power, I'm going to grab a quick cable to get this powered because it's on battery and I don't want it to lost on the stream. So, while you wait, I have a treat for you and a quick story. On 4th of July, we have a fireworks show that's pretty close to my house in the town that I live in. So I have a Phantom 4 Pro drone, and I got it when I started shooting these YouTube videos, and so I said, for 2 years, I wanted to record. So I actually did for hobby, by the way, line of sight, for all of the drone police out there. Flew it up in the air and did a 4K 60p recording of the fireworks display, which I'm going to go ahead and play now, just for a moment. I'll be back while I get some power to the Sonosax M2D2. Be right back. What do you guys think of the fireworks? I don't know how it looks on a live stream like this, but I'm telling you, the imagery was amazing, and I was like, man, this is the coolest thing I've done with a drone. But I was so nervous, because I just, I wasn't over people. By the way, I was in a clearing, I was safe, line of sight, all that good stuff. But I was really excited about getting that footage. So I hope you enjoyed it. All right, so let me show you what I'm doing here. So now I have this power brick charging the Sonosax out of the USB port. So you can see here, well, if I can, we'll do the focus game again. There it is. See how that is going left to right and charging. So now we're not going to run out of juice, and I'm not going to embarrass myself. So, okay. All right. Kevin Stram, what's going on, buddy? It's really great to see you. Hey, by the way, Kevin, we gave Henry a try, and he did really, really great. So thanks for that recommendation. And Tim says, I was actually curious about this exact setup as a quick studio setup, but would depend on how clean the studio is to power interference. Yeah, that was kind of my thought too, Tim. I was thinking to myself, unbalanced input to monitors, and I'm just now realizing if they were Avantones, they wouldn't be the old ones because those aren't powered, are they, Lloyd? Oh, actually, because you would need to send that to an amp to the whatever. But anyway, I digress. Okay. Yes, I used to have to go to Kinko's and have the PDF of the manual printed and bound. Oh, man. That's the old school right there. All right. All right, so what do we have here? Just going to get through some of these comments, guys, and we'll get back to the M2D2 and do the tour here a little bit. Fireworks sound amazing. What mics are those? Tim, actually, that is a... glad you asked. That is actually a stock sound underneath because the Phantom 4 Pro doesn't record audio. So I actually had to do my own sound design over it. And I did not record those sounds, by the way. Those were done by a professional sound designer. And I just happened to kind of fake it a little bit because I was so, I was like, oh no, there's no sound. So anyway. So compliments to the gentleman who actually did that, because that is actually a true MS. It's a high-end recording to go with the 4K 60 experience. Here you go. Avantones are awesome. We had Oratones back then. Oh, yeah. That was what I'm thinking. So the Avantones are the newer ones that are powered, right, Lloyd? Okay. totally cool sounds from fireworks. I cannot take credit for the sounds for the fireworks, guys, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let's see here. Yeah, zero drone noise during. it's like I'm gonna stop the stream and go back to the fireworks and say goodnight. It's cooler. It's like, yeah, I was so like, oh no, but I'm glad I found some stuff to kind of to work with it. Also, oh yeah, Avatones today are powered. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yep, they are. Okay, cool. Let's get back to it, guys. So, we did the input menus. We talked about navigation. We're charging now. And what do you guys, for those of you who have attended live streams before on the channel, do you hear a difference? I'm not one of these guys that's like, oh, it's YouTube compression. I think you can tell. And if someone's feeling nerdy, click on the stats for nerds for me and tell me what the current audio compression is on this stream on your side, so I know, so we know what we're listening to. And there's focus. Okay, great. Okay. Let's see here. So let's go to the next section, which is outputs, and take a look and see what's there. Kind of the same stuff. That was there with the inputs. You got phones, and then obviously the matrix here. This is that phones level, by the way, is what you're seeing. It's interesting. I've never seen a VU meter for phones only. Obviously, I'm not listening that loud, but that's what that is. That's not my input level, because that would look a little low. So right now I'm listening to a mix that is stereo. Now, if I just wanted to, say, change my mix, like let's say I wanted to listen to the mic input. I select it. Now I'm listening to the mic input, and then I can listen to the mix at the same time, which is a little funky. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. But as you can see, I can pretty much choose whatever I want, whichever source that I want to my headphones. And then if I actually scroll through this here, these are the presets. So if I want to save this to a preset, all I have to do is hold it down. I hold it down, and now preset 1 is this. I think it's preset 4 too, which is why it looks like that. I'm going to go back, because remember, this is the back. And then we're going to look at some of the other stuff. The line out, same kind of matrix. Different than what we were talking about before, but as you can see, we can choose the mic, the AES, and we can also change the level of our output of any device. So if I want to come in here and say, okay, I want to choose the AES stereo, which would be both signals, or that inverts it, reverse stereo, right to left, or here's something interesting, an MS decoder out of an AES out. That's basically a decoded signal that decodes the MS signal before it hits the output stage. And then, okay, then you can do one left to one center, which is a mono, which would basically send a mono AES signal to both output channels. So, and, so let me go back, and because I want to get through all this stuff here. Then the AES out menu, as you can see, okay, it's like, oh, wow, this is the same stuff. Okay. Oh, see how I have, I was sending it a USB input to the AES output because I was doing some playback from an iPhone into a Kantar Mini. USB output, also same kind of routing. Oh, and look, this is what you're listening to here. This is a VU meter dedicated directly to all of you who are here on the stream. Setup. Yep, that's my line output. We already did that. Tone. I would not do that to you guys. That is not friendly. And then, you guys want to hear the compressor? Let's do it. So in order for you to hear a compressed signal, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to assign the compressor to the mix output and actually go to the USB output and assign the mix input to that output in order for that to work. This is going to take a little work, but like not a lot of work. This is going to be pretty much go for it here. All right, so let's do USB out and see where it says mix. Let's make sure, and I'm the only reason why I'm pausing here is I want you to be able to, all right, let me make sure my mix, I don't want to lose you guys is what I'm trying to work out right now. Hold on. But I said you're going to hear the compressor, so that's what's going to happen. All right, let me go to the mix out. Where is the, oh, it's on the main menu. See, I'm learning. This is why I do this stuff. So the mixer, the mixer is sending a mono mic out. So we're good. So we can switch that. So let's go to output. And then let's go to USB. And then let's switch to, I'm trying to make sure that I can send a mix out USB. I'm sure I can. Let me go back here. Mixer. Here's the USB. That's an input source. So the output source has to be mixer on the USB in order for this to work. So this is the USB out. Is then going to be the mix source. Okay, I got it. So let's fix it. Okay, so now we're going to assign. Now I'm sending it to you twice. You probably just heard a brief boost because you're getting a 3 dB boost. Now it should be back to normal. So now I'm going to go to the mixer out and mess with compression. All right. Now we'll go to it's being fed, and then if we come in here, now I tried turning the compression on, and then was like, hey, it won't turn on, like no matter what I did. And then I finally realized that I have to select it and then adjust the threshold. Now to do that, I'm going to go ahead. You know, I'm going to actually use the right thing so you guys can see better. It's harder for me to do, but I care. So now I'm actually going to add some compression. Ooh, that's aggressive, because that's a 10-to-1 ratio. That's more like a limiter. But that's really aggressive. Let's not do that. All right, test. There you go. There's a little bit of a kiss of compression at the top. If I take it here, you start to hear it more. That's nice. Probably actually helps as I'm trying to kind of dynamically speak to you guys. So then you have your attack, release, your ratio, all that good stuff. And see those little lights in the corner? That is your compression. That's outputs. I'm just going to leave it like this. I'd rather than go anywhere else. System. You have your, this is good, meters. This is good. The meters, you have 4. So right now I'm choosing the USB out. That lets me know that you guys are hearing me. And then 3 is simply disabled because I wanted to put a space between it. Why don't we go ahead and send mix to USB 3, which has a touch of compression. And then we're going to be able to hear the difference between the two. So now, or C, okay. So now you see 4 meters. Now what's interesting, that's so cool. No, is that? Oh yeah. See how meter 3 has this little dot right here that that's basically letting me know the compressor is being enabled. You guys probably haven't seen me this enthusiastic in a while. It's probably because I haven't been as excited about a piece of gear as this in a while. All right, so let's move over to comments. We got a little bit more to cover on this before we wrap things up here. So thanks for hanging in there with me. Codec MP4A 40.2, 140. Oh, wow. If that's 140 bit rate, that's about half a CD quality. Less than half. But, you know, I still think is the difference. It's if that 140 is that bit rate of the compression of the MPEG 4 format, which I think isn't MPEG 4, actually MPEG layer 2 and MP3 MPEG layer 1. Anybody know any like geeks on codecs out there? And then, oh, I saw your comment before that, Tim. It says, do we know what the battery life is on the 18650? Just one? I don't know. And he's talking about the internal battery here, which is conveniently in the side here. I'm not going to open it right now because I just don't want to, you know, I don't want things to not work. But, you know, you just click it off, and I think it was Lloyd that was telling me it's actually the same kind of similar battery that they use for the vaping. But I can go to battery here and show you guys at least what the voltage is for good measure. Battery, lithium ion battery, there it is, page 11. Let's go to 11 and look. Here it is. This is the voltage. We need to know what the power is, though. I mean, I guess the amount of voltage is kind of gives us, but we need to know what the power draw is what I'm trying to say. So let's see here. I will say, so I don't know. I'll let you know down the road. But here's what's cool is that it has a built-in charger. I don't know if we talked about that. But in the US, it depends on how much power the unit is using, whether it will charge or not. Oh, it does have thermal protection too into the charger as well, and could detect a faulty battery as well. And we should be able to get some battery statistics on it if we look into the settings. So let's go ahead and do that and see what it thinks about the battery right now. Well, I'm sure it's charging, so it likes what's happening. Let's go to the system menu. Let's go over to oh, you can do up to 192 sample rate. So let's go to, that's the display brightness, info. Ooh, where's battery? Info. No. Hardware status. No problems detected. Thank you. And then let's see. I'm trying to, somewhere in here is going to be a battery meter. Maybe it doesn't, you know. I mean, I'm expecting this thing to cook me breakfast right now. I mean, I got to kind of take a step back from that. All right, so what else didn't we talk about? What did we not talk about with this? Let's take questions. Let's talk about this. I can tell you how I'm going to use it if anyone's interested in that. Ambience and or playback on a Kantar mini rig, including cues for other sides of conversations, SFX, on set for inspiration for directors, and or music playback in a scenario where I don't have a large cart and just the Kantar Mini. Also for comm systems, returns. It's kind of a waste of these beautiful preamps, but hey, it's a helpful tool. And the other thing is also for preamps for Boom 1 and 2, it would be either or, obviously, because you still have the 6 inputs, the 2 outputs. So there's a lot of flexibility with this. I will be using it alongside with a Melody 2, which is Aton Digital's 80 D to A converter, which is important when you want to utilize AES inputs. So what else can we talk about? Let's do some questions. Hopefully you guys heard the compressor and all that. Kevin says, menu seems pretty simple and intuitive. Nice. I agree, Kevin. It's pretty dang outstanding. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with it. It's funny, the compressors kind of bother me, but I bet you it's helping you guys in making things a little, because I'm listening to the mix. But what's crazy is I can deliver you a compressed mix. So I'm like, why does it sound like it? It's like, oh, I'm hearing the compressor. So I can deliver you guys a compressed mix, but then I can come back. Oh, here we're playing the focus game again. Oh, there we go. The universe has smiled on us. So I can come into the outputs headphones, and then rather than listen to a mix, I can go ahead and listen to the input without changing anything on you guys. And you guys, I mean, that's just like, yeah, because it sounds a little better without the compressor to my ears. Let me know if you want me to turn off the compressor, guys. I'll turn it off. Tim says, assuming you can MS decode for headphone monitoring as well. Yes, correct. Basically, that's a really good question. So the MS stage happens before it goes to the output. So you would have to listen to... Oh, you guys are killing it with the good questions. Okay, so let's see here. Let's figure it out. This is why I'm here to learn. So on the headphone stage, so if this is, so let's say we're sending an MS out, line out, right? And we wanted to send AES, the line output, we wanted to decode it MS, right? So then what we would do is we would go to the headphones, and then we would choose probably MS. Let me see if it's in here, because there is no line source for monitoring. So let's see. Yep, there it is. There's your MS decoder, which is separate than the line output. Thank you for stretching my brain, Tim. That was actually a good question. So let's just turn that off. Okay. Bam. We are killing it tonight, guys. All right, Tim, let's see here. That's a cool compressor. Totally digital, but pretty smooth and even when heavy. Yeah, I agree. I think it would be decent for podcasting, stuff like that. Yeah, I think for like the application, I'm just trying to think about it, Lloyd. Like, if you're doing like, recording voiceover, maybe that's going right to broadcast or something. That could be a strong possibility. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of uses for so funny because in production dialogue recording them, it's like I never use them. Let's see here. But in music, man, it's all about a good channel strip. If you can get your compression right on the front end, why not, man? As long as it's not too aggressive. Just input compression. Just enough to get your, nothing crazy like you may or may not do in a mix, right? Super excited about Sonosax. And also, Michael just bought an X3 and a Mini. Haha. You have lots of cool gear. Yes, Lloyd, I am very excited and fortunate for that. Now I have to go back to work and pay for all this stuff. Okay, Tim says, I've seen that battery type in some hiking headlamps. Oh, interesting. They're used for a lot of stuff that needs a larger cell than the standard AA format. Hence the voltage, yeah, because the AA is only like what, 1.5 volts, and this thing is, I already forgot, 3.6. Yeah, that's almost over two times the power. And the size, I can pull up a picture of it so you guys can see on the great internet here. Hold on, because I'm not going to take it out of this device right now while I'm doing a stream. Okay, so all right, let me figure this out here and see if we can get a size pulled up, and then I'll share the screen with you. Images. Here's one that's recent. So what I'm trying to do is find, next to AA. As soon as I get something worthwhile seeing, guys, I'll put it up on the screen, I promise. Oh, here we go. Bingo. All right, let's pull it up. There it is. This is the 18650 2400 milliamp hour. Next to, I mean, look at it. It's like just a little fatter and taller, but twice. That's such a smart battery. They have the best ideas. Sonosax. Okay. Let's see here. Very, very good. Well, guys, thank you for being here. Are there any questions on this before we wrap things up? Because it's starting to get a little late on my end, and we're going to wrap things up. I want to say thanks for being here and for making it a great stream. Let's see if we can get this to focus. There it is at the Sonosax M2D2 audio device. I love how they call it an audio device. So stay tuned. Trying to think announcements and so forth for the channel. I have not done like a formal video in a while. So I'm toying with the idea of shooting like a old school like YouTube video, because I do enjoy making those. I just want to make sure that the topic is something that is going to be worth the effort. These streams are very social. I like having you guys and interacting with you here. It makes a big difference, I think, for the experience for me. So I appreciate that. Check out the Cinema Audio Society YouTube channel if you have not yet. I've been working with CAS developing the channel, and along with Amanda Beggs, we have hosted 5 videos which are launching weekly. So please go check that out if you have not. Tim, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Kevin, it's always great to see you. Thank you. Thanks, Lloyd. You gentlemen have a good night. Take care. Be safe out there. And I'll look forward to seeing everyone soon. Take it easy.